سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم ربنا لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. أما بعد. Before starting the main, you can say, lecture, I would like to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first of all to forgive us if there is any darkness in our hearts which will block us from benefiting from today's lecture. So I do ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove it from our hearts, and also to make our chest wider so we can have bigger amount of this, you can say, knowledge, which is in our time rarely we can find. Okay, and then today just we were driving here and I remembered some hadith in which Rasulullah was talking about our time, about, you can say, one of the signs of Yawm al-Qiyamah, and in there Rasulullah says that يَكُونُ الزُّهْدُ riwayatan. Okay, so it is the time when piety becomes as a narration. Okay, so today we are going to narrate the piety. Okay, so because piety means to be pious, to be, you can say, salih, obedient. In the past it used to be realistic. Okay, people would implement, people would stop from the haram, and people would do go to do the virtues and etc. But in our time we do not do it, but we only narrate it. Okay, well, isn't it that bad? I say, as long as we are holding 1/10 of what Sahaba used to do, that is still good. But as soon as our practicing will decrease from 1/10 of what Sahaba used to do, then actually we will be punished for what we say. If you remember, Rasulullah says, Al-Quran hujjatun lak aw alayk. Quran is evidence for you to be Muslim and obedient, or it is proof against you. For example, Quran says, do not, for example, drink alcohol. You read it, but you drink it. Means Quran is proof against you. Okay, so then when exactly that will start happening, Rasulullah said, there will be a time, Rasulullah was talking about his Sahaba, he said, "O Sahaba, if you will miss out 1/10 of what you are practicing now, then you will be destroyed. But there will be a time, which is our time, if they would practice only 1/10 of what you are doing, Sahaba, then they will be successful." So means Quran will be proof against us, and whatever we're saying now about the practicing in excess, that will be a proof against ourselves if our practicing will be reduced lower than 1/10 of what Sahaba used to do. Okay, but unfortunately some of us would be maybe one of 20 parts of what Sahaba were doing. Okay, or maybe there could be some of us doing maybe a quarter of what Sahaba is doing. So I would call him wali of our time. Okay, but it should not be less than 1/10. Okay. Okay, so here is the narration of the piety. Today we are going to speak about, just to catch up with the last time's lecture. I understand that last time I did create really huge confusion, because we all used to believe that all of the tariqas are going on the same speed. Okay, and then last time I did explain that some of them are quicker and some of them are longer. Okay, and inshallah you will get it confirmed by Najmuddin Kubra radiallahu anhu by himself. As you know, there are way of practicing and way of mujahada, struggling, and way of jazb, or way of dhikr. And Najmuddin Kubra is going to explain the way of dhikr or jazr. Okay, but he says that it is the way of death. Okay, so then death could be caused by many ways. Death, it does mean that you have to kill yourself, but you should kill your ego. Okay, that is going to be the quickest way that Najmuddin Kubra will explain. Okay, but our way as Qadiris, our way is mujahada. Najmuddin Kubra will say, inshallah you will see it, he will say that it is very long, but the people who will reach by the way of mujahada is very small number. Okay. Anyway. So first of all, who is Najmuddin Kubra radiallahu anhu? So he is Ahmad bin Umar bin Muhammad al-Kharazmi al-Khiwaqi. Okay, Khiwaq is one of the villages or small towns of Kharazm, city of Kharazm. Anyone knows city of Kharazm? It is basically towards, you can say, west part of Republic of Uzbekistan. Okay, and we have some city there called Jurjaniya. Jurjan and Jurjaniya. Jurjaniya. So our Imam is from Jurjaniya of Kharazm. Okay, and Alhamdulillah, just because we're talking about Jurjaniya, my grandfather is actually he has been killed and buried there. Great grandfather, who was one of the rebellions against the Abbasi Khilafah. I don't know why did he go against them, but he has been poisoned and he has been killed. Okay, yeah, and actually we do have two graves of him. One is in Ahwaz, between Kuwait and Iraq and Iran, and so we call it Tustur. Have you heard about Sahl al-Tusturi? So it's there, his grave, and another grave is in Jurjaniya of Kharazm. It's exactly where this person was born, and even they do call our tribe Banu Kharazmiya because of that. Anyway. So it is, his name is Ahmad bin Umar bin Muhammad al-Kharazmi al-Khiwaqi Najmuddin Kubra. So Najmuddin is his title. Kubra is also, you can say, title. And we are going to talk about each single title of him. And do I have anyone who speaks Persian here? So, do you know Haykal in Arabic language? Even in Urdu, Haykal, monument. Haykal, it's monument. Haykal Tarash, have you heard about this thing? Tarash is the one who makes the monuments. Okay, so one of the titles of Najmuddin Kubra used to be Wali Tarash. Okay, in Arabic they say San'ul Awliya or Nahtul Awliya. So Nahid is the one who works on the stone to make it into different shapes. Okay, why? Because he would produce the awliya as that person produces monuments from the stones. Okay, so his title is Wali Tarash, as well as Kubra. Okay, Kubra because if you remember last time we mentioned this, Kubra in Arabic language means the hugest one, biggest one. So his title used to be Atammatul Kubra, hugest problem. Why? Because in his young age, when he used to be student of knowledge, before being engaged into the tasawwuf, he would be very sharp in terms of knowledge, and when he would debate, he would crush his partner. Do you know that type of personalities? So that's why when he would come to the class, his, you can say, friends in the classroom, they would say the biggest problem came, Tammatul Kubra came. And after he was engaged into the tasawwuf, so they did remove Tamma problem, but Kubra was still there. So they did call him Najmuddin Kubra. And also another title is Abul Jannab. Abul Jannab is one of the titles that has been given to him by Rasulullah ﷺ. So once he saw Rasulullah ﷺ in his dream, so then Rasulullah ﷺ called him saying, Abul Jannab, come here. So then Jannab in Arabic language means towards or respectable person. But Jannab is avoiding person. Okay? So then Najmuddin Kubra came, and then when he said, he asked Rasulullah ﷺ saying, Ya Rasulullah, is it my title? Is it Abul Jannab or Abul Jannab? Shadda. So Rasulullah ﷺ said, but it is Abul Jannab. Shadda. Means the one who avoids the prohibitions. So Najmuddin Kubra says that when I woke up, I was very, very happy. Because Rasulullah ﷺ did call me as the one who avoids the prohibitions and wrong things. Okay? Yeah, and you know, when you speak about these kinds of personalities, it's nearly impossible to describe all of his, you can say, corners of his virtues. Because, first of all, he used to be the qutb of his time, as well as he's founder of his own tariqah. As, for example, Qadri tariqah is attributed to Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani radiallahu anhu. So Kubrawiyah tariqah is attributed to Najmuddin Kubra. So he's very huge personality. Okay, and also Najmuddin Kubra radiallahu anhu used to be in the same time as Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani radiallahu anhu. So when Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani was senior wali, Sheikh Najmuddin Kubra was a young murids or saliks or young awliya, one of the young awliya. So he was born at 540s, okay, Islamic year. So you can say after the death of Imam Ghazali, after 35 years. So it's easier to remember like that. So after Imam Ghazali. And he passed away, he has been killed at 618, okay. And also, what do we know about his childhood? You know, one thing is very strange, all the time, do you know the famous people, before they become famous, the period of their life, of the famous people, before their fame, we will have only few things. We do not have that much information. Am I right? For example, it's a very easy example. Do you know Barack Obama? Now, maybe we may know nearly something on weekly basis about him. But before he became president, would we know anything about him? So that is the nature of a life. So before someone becomes famous, his life will not be that famous as his life after becoming famous. It doesn't make sense. So it is the same thing about Najmuddin Kubra radiallahu anhu. So he's not exemption also. So we do not have that much information about his young, you can say, life. Okay, except some of the stories that Najmuddin Kubra radiallahu anhu mentioned about him.